Hello and welcome back to Say It Real. I'm really happy you're here with me today. In this episode, we're going to talk about something every English learner needs at some point: motivation. Because learning English is exciting, but let's be honest, it can also feel frustrating. Some days you feel focused. Some days you feel tired. Some days English feels easy. And on other days, even one sentence feels difficult. If you've ever felt like that, this episode is for you. Here on Say It Real, the goal is simple: help you improve your English through clear, natural listening practice. I speak in a calm, easy way so you can follow, repeat, and build confidence little by little. And yes, this is also a great moment to practice shadowing. So as you listen, don't just sit there quietly. Repeat after me. Copy the rhythm. Copy the sound. Pause if you need to. Speak out loud. That is how confidence grows. So take a breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin. Learning English is not something that happens in one week. It does not happen overnight. And it does not happen because you are perfect. It happens because you return, again and again, a little every day. Even when you feel slow, even when you feel unsure, even when you feel like you are not making progress. That is how real growth works. A lot of learners think they need more talent, but many times what they really need is patience. Because the truth is, learning a language is not about being the fastest person in the room. It is about staying in the room. It is about continuing when it gets uncomfortable. It is about trying again when you make mistakes. It is about trusting that small effort repeated many times creates real change. And that change is often quiet. Sometimes progress does not look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like understanding one more sentence than yesterday. Sometimes it looks like remembering one word without translating. Sometimes it looks like opening your mouth and speaking, even if your grammar is not perfect. That is progress. And that matters. I want you to remember something important. You do not need to sound perfect to be improving. You do not need to know every word. You do not need to speak fast. You do not need to understand everything immediately. You just need to stay connected to the process. Because every time you listen, your ears improve. Every time you repeat, your mouth improves. Every time you try, your confidence improves. Even if you cannot see it clearly yet, something is happening. You are changing. Learning English is a lot like building strength. At first, everything feels heavy. Simple conversations feel difficult. Common words disappear from your mind. You hesitate. You stop. You start again. But over time, the things that felt impossible begin to feel normal. That is why you cannot judge your journey too early. If today feels hard, that does not mean you are bad at English. It only means you are in the process. And being in the process is a good thing. Now let's talk honestly about motivation. People often think motivation is a big, powerful feeling. Like waking up full of energy and saying, "Today I will study English for 2 hours and become fluent." But real motivation is usually much quieter than that. Real motivation is often a small decision. It sounds more like this: I'm tired, but I can listen for 5 minutes. I don't feel like studying, but I can repeat 3 sentences. I had a hard day, but I can still do something small. That is real motivation. Not perfection, not pressure, just return. Sometimes the strongest learners are not the most excited ones. They are simply the ones who come back. So what can you do when you feel tired, busy, or discouraged? Let's make it practical. First, make the goal smaller. Don't tell yourself you need 1 hour. Don't tell yourself you need the perfect mood. Don't tell yourself you need a perfect routine. That makes everything feel heavier. Instead, ask yourself this: what is the smallest thing I can do today in English? Maybe it is 1 minute of listening. Maybe it is repeating 1 paragraph. Maybe it is reading a short text. Maybe it is saying 3 sentences about your day. Small still counts. And honestly, small done consistently is much more powerful than big done once. Second, remember your reason. Why are you learning English? Maybe it is for work. Maybe it is for travel. Maybe it is for better opportunities. Maybe it is because you want to understand videos, movies, music, or podcasts. Maybe you want to speak to people from other countries. Maybe you simply want to feel proud of yourself. Your reason matters. When motivation feels weak, your reason becomes your anchor. So keep your reason close. Write it down if you need to. Say it out loud. Return to it on the difficult days. Because when your energy is low, your purpose can carry you. Third, make English easy to start. This is very important. Many people fail not because they are lazy, but because starting feels too hard. So remove the friction. Keep your favorite podcast ready. Save short episodes on your phone. Put English somewhere visible in your daily life. Choose material that feels clear, interesting, and possible. Do not build a routine that depends on perfect conditions. Build one that works in real life. Fourth, speak to yourself with more kindness. This changes everything. A lot of learners say things like, "My English is terrible. I'm too slow. I'm embarrassed. I will never sound natural." But if you repeat those thoughts every day, learning becomes heavier and heavier. So change the language you use with yourself. Try this instead. "I'm improving step by step. I'm learning something difficult, and that takes time. I don't need to be perfect today. I just need to keep going." The way you talk to yourself becomes part of the learning experience. Make that voice supportive. Make it honest but kind. And fifth, notice your small wins. Please don't wait for fluency to feel proud. Be proud of the small things too. Did you listen today? That matters. Did you understand one sentence more than before? That matters. Did you repeat out loud even though you felt shy? That matters. Did you come back after skipping a few days? That really matters. Small wins are not small. They are the foundation. Now I want to talk about something many learners struggle with: not feeling their progress. This happens all the time. You study, you listen, you practice, but inside you still wonder, am I really getting better? And I understand that feeling, because progress in language learning can be hard to see when you live inside it every day. But there are ways to notice it. One simple way is to keep a record. You do not need anything fancy. Just write down small things. New words you learned, a phrase you liked, a sentence you were able to say, a video you understood better than expected. Later, when you look back, you will see evidence that you are growing. Another powerful way is to record your voice. This is one of the best tools you can use. Today, record yourself speaking for 30 seconds or 1 minute. Talk about your name, your day, your job, your family, or why you are learning English. Then do it again next week. When you compare the recordings, you may notice something beautiful. You sound clearer. You pause less. You feel more comfortable. Your pronunciation improves. Your confidence becomes more visible. That is real proof. And sometimes progress appears in quiet moments. The first time you understand a sentence without translating. The first time you know what someone means before they finish speaking. The first time you respond without fear. The first time English feels less foreign and more familiar. Those moments are easy to ignore, but they are important. They show that English is slowly becoming part of you. Also, don't only look forward. Look back. A lot of learners spend all their time thinking about what they still cannot do. But that makes growth feel invisible. So ask yourself, what was hard for me 1 month ago? What feels easier now? What words do I know now that I didn't know before? What kind of audio can I understand today that I couldn't understand before? When you look back honestly, you may realize you are not stuck at all. You are moving, maybe slowly, but moving. And slow progress is still progress. Now let's talk about enjoyment. Because if learning English always feels like pressure, it becomes much harder to continue. You are not a machine. You are a person. So the process has to feel alive. Yes, discipline matters. Yes, consistency matters. But joy matters too. You do not need to make English feel like punishment. You can make it part of your life in a way that feels natural. Listen to content you actually enjoy. Choose topics that interest you. Repeat sentences that sound useful in real life. Talk to yourself while you cook, walk, or get ready in the morning. Watch simple videos. Read small things that make you curious. Learning becomes more powerful when it feels personal. And let me say something else that really matters. Mistakes are not signs that you are failing. Mistakes are signs that you are participating. If you never make mistakes, you are probably staying too quiet. You are probably choosing safety over growth. But real improvement cannot decide, but improvement needs action. And action includes mistakes. When children learn to speak, they make mistakes constantly. When they learn to walk, they fall many times. That is normal. So why should learning English be any different? If you say something wrong, fine. If your grammar is imperfect, fine. If your pronunciation is still developing, fine. You are learning. That is not something to be ashamed of. That is something to respect. So please do not wait until you feel ready to speak. Speak while you are learning. Speak while you are imperfect. Speak while you are still building confidence. That is the path. And before we continue, I want to stay with you a little longer and talk about something else that matters a lot in language learning. I want to talk about those quiet moments when nobody sees your effort. Because sometimes learning English feels invisible. Maybe you study alone in your room. Maybe you listen while you walk. Maybe you repeat sentences softly when nobody is around. Maybe you practice in your head while you work, while you cook, while you travel, or before you sleep. And because these moments are so quiet, sometimes you forget how meaningful they really are. But let me tell you something. Those quiet moments count. They count more than you think. Not every important part of learning is loud. Not every sign of progress is dramatic. Sometimes the most powerful work happens in silence. It happens when you choose to keep listening, even when you are tired. It happens when you repeat a sentence one more time because you want to sound clearer. It happens when you decide not to give up, even if your progress feels slow. That kind of effort matters deeply. And even if nobody congratulates you for it, even if nobody sees it, it is still changing you. This is something I really want you to remember. You do not need public proof to know you are growing. You do not need applause. You do not need perfect results. You do not need someone to tell you every day that you are doing well. Sometimes your only proof is this: you are still here. You are still listening. You are still trying. You are still coming back. And honestly, that is powerful. A lot of people quit when things stop feeling exciting. A lot of people stop when learning becomes repetitive. A lot of people disappear when progress is no longer fast. But you are here. And that says something important about you. It says you care. It says you want more for yourself. It says you are willing to grow even when growth is uncomfortable. That is not small. That is a strong mindset. Now, let's talk about consistency in a more realistic way. Sometimes people hear the word consistency and imagine doing everything perfectly every day. But that is not real life. Real life is messy. Some days are busy. Some days are emotional. Some days your mind feels focused. Some days your brain feels full. Some days you wake up ready to learn. Some days you just want to rest. So consistency does not mean doing the same amount every single day. Consistency means staying connected. That is different. Staying connected means that even if today is not your best day, you still do something small. Even if it is only one sentence. Even if it is only 1 minute. Even if it is only listening without repeating. That still keeps the habit alive. And habits are important because habits remove pressure. When English becomes part of your routine, it stops feeling like a huge mountain you have to climb every time. It becomes normal. It becomes something your brain expects. Something your ears recognize. Something your voice begins to trust. That is why tiny daily contact with English can be more powerful than long study sessions once in a while. You do not need to do something impressive. You need to do something repeatable. That is the real secret. Not intensity, repeatability. Now, maybe you are listening right now and thinking, okay, but what should I actually do when I feel stuck? That is a very real question. So let's talk about that. When you feel stuck, one of the best things you can do is stop trying to control everything. Sometimes learners become stuck because they put too much pressure on every moment. They want to understand every word. They want to pronounce everything perfectly. They want to sound advanced immediately. They want each study session to feel productive. But language learning does not always work like that. Some days are clear. Some days are confusing. Some days feel strong. Some days feel slow. This is normal. So when you feel stuck, instead of asking, why am I not better yet? Try asking a softer question. Ask, how can I stay engaged today? Maybe that means listening for pleasure. Maybe that means repeating only the sentences you like. Maybe that means going back to easier material and rebuilding confidence. Maybe that means resting for one day and returning with fresh energy. Being stuck does not always mean something is wrong. Sometimes it simply means your brain is still processing. Sometimes growth is happening underneath the surface before you can hear it clearly. Think about that. A seed under the ground looks invisible for a while. But invisible does not mean inactive. And your English may be like that too. There may be things growing right now that you cannot fully see yet. Your listening may be improving quietly. Your pronunciation may be organizing itself. Your confidence may be building slowly in the background. So don't panic too quickly. Stay with it. Trust a little longer. Now I also want to talk about comparison. Because comparison steals energy from many learners. You hear someone speak English better than you and suddenly you feel behind. You watch another learner online and suddenly your own progress feels smaller. You compare your accent, your speed, your vocabulary, your confidence, and then you start feeling discouraged. But comparison is dangerous because it removes you from your own path. Your journey is yours. Your speed is yours. Your starting point is yours. Your fears are yours. Your strengths are yours. And because of that, your progress will also look different. Some people are strong listeners first. Some people speak early but make many mistakes. Some people understand a lot but feel shy when talking. Some people take longer to feel confident, but once they do, they grow fast. There is no single perfect path. So instead of comparing yourself to someone else, return to this question. Am I stronger than I used to be? That is the comparison that matters. Not you against another person. You against your old self. That is the only comparison that truly helps. And while we are here, let's talk about confidence. A lot of people think confidence comes first. They think, when I feel confident, then I will speak. But most of the time, confidence does not come first. Action comes first. Then confidence grows after. You speak a little and confidence grows. You repeat again and confidence grows. You survive a mistake and confidence grows. You understand more than expected and confidence grows. Confidence is built through experience, not waiting. So if you are waiting to feel fully ready before you speak more English, that moment may never come. Start before you feel ready. Start while your voice shakes a little. Start while your grammar is still imperfect. Start while your sentences are still simple. Simple English spoken with courage is better than perfect English that stays trapped in your mind. Never forget that. And now I want to give you a small mindset shift that can help a lot. Instead of saying, my English is bad, try saying, my English is growing. That one change matters, because bad feels fixed, but growing feels alive. My English is bad sounds like the story is over. My English is growing sounds like you are still becoming. And you are. You are becoming more familiar with the language. You are becoming more comfortable with sound and rhythm. You are becoming more patient. You are becoming more capable than you were before. That is why words matter. The words you use about yourself shape the experience. So choose words that leave room for growth. Now let's make this practical again. Here are a few simple things you can do to keep your motivation alive in everyday life. Talk to yourself in English for 1 minute a day. It does not have to be beautiful. It just has to be real. Describe what you are doing. Describe what you see. Describe what you need to do later. This kind of practice is simple, but it teaches your brain to use English more naturally. Another idea is to create a small English ritual. Maybe every morning you listen to one short audio. Maybe every night you repeat 5 sentences. Maybe during lunch you read 1 paragraph. Maybe before bed you say 3 things about your day in English. Rituals help because they remove decision fatigue. You do not have to wonder when to practice. It already has a place in your day. You can also choose 1 sentence each day that feels useful and repeat it many times. Not 20 random sentences, just 1 good sentence. Say it in different moods. Say it slowly. Say it naturally. Say it until it begins to feel like yours. This kind of repetition is powerful because language becomes stronger when it moves from your eyes to your ears to your mouth. And one more thing. Please do not underestimate the power of enjoying your own voice in the learning process. At first, many learners feel uncomfortable hearing themselves speak English. That is normal. But the more you hear yourself, the more normal it becomes. And when it becomes normal, it becomes easier. So don't run away from your own voice. Train with it. Work with it. Get familiar with it. Your voice in English deserves practice too. And before I move into the final part of today's episode, I want to speak directly to the person who feels late. Maybe you think you started too late. Maybe you think your level should be higher by now. Maybe you think other people learned faster than you. Maybe you feel frustrated because you imagined you would already be fluent. Take a breath. You are not late. You are learning now. And now is powerful. Now is when habits can begin. Now is when confidence can begin. Now is when consistency can begin. Now is when your future English can begin. Do not waste your energy being angry at the timeline. Use your energy to keep moving. Even if your pace is slow. Even if your schedule is full. Even if your confidence still needs time. You are still allowed to grow. You are still allowed to become excellent. You are still allowed to improve. And improvement does not ask you to be perfect. It only asks you to continue. So if this week was not ideal, continue. If today felt hard, continue. If you made mistakes, continue. If your motivation felt low, continue. Not with pressure, with calm, with patience, with honesty, with self-respect. Because this journey is not only about English, it is also about the kind of person you become while learning. More patient, more disciplined, more brave, more open, more resilient. That matters too. So yes, learn vocabulary. Yes, improve pronunciation. Yes, practice listening and shadowing. But also notice the deeper growth happening inside you. You are learning how to keep going. You are learning how to be uncomfortable without quitting. You are learning how to trust small steps. And those lessons can help you far beyond English. Now, I want to move into the final part of this episode. Because English is not just a subject, it is a tool. It can open doors. It can connect you to new people, new ideas, new opportunities, new experiences. It can help you in work. It can help you in travel. It can help you study. It can help you feel more free in the modern world. And even if your English is still basic right now, every small step you take is moving you towards something bigger. You may not see the full future yet, but you are building it. One sentence at a time, one listening session at a time, one repetition at a time. That is powerful. So if you've been feeling discouraged, let this be your reminder. You do not need to do everything today. You do not need to be amazing today. You do not need to impress anyone. You only need to continue. Come back tomorrow. Come back the next day. Keep listening. Keep repeating. Keep trusting the process. Because the person who continues is the person who changes. And if this episode is helping you, don't forget to subscribe to Say It Real, give it a like, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next episode. We are building real English here, step by step, with patience, clarity, and confidence. And I'm really glad you're part of it. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm truly glad you're here. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep believing in your progress. And keep saying it real. See you in the next episode.